This is a test of the Boundary Park alert system. Hello and welcome to the Latics Football Phone-In. Andy, look at him there, just putting his headphones in. Did you get him in time, Andy? Hey.
Oh.
Listen, no one's worried about what you're saying. Everyone's just looking at that shirt. Oh my God. God, I never thought I'd hear myself say I miss Sexy Dave.
Hey, listen, right. I'm stepping in late here. I want some respect for turning up. This is not my gig, this one.
That's fair enough. I mean, Dave's bailed again. You know, I'm the only one who does any consistent work around here. You've just come back off holiday.
Anyway, I thought you were supposed to wear shirts on this gig. That was the idea, wasn't it?
It's true. No, absolutely spot on. And you that is a shirt of envy. That shirt wasn't worn many times. I know it was worn in the the Littlewoods Cup semi-final second leg against West Ham. Was it worn many other times? Is that from that game?
This was Willie Donachie's shirt.
Ah, nice. Have your kids been drawing on the back of it? I bet if you see any kids within half a mile of that shirt, they're in trouble, aren't they? Do you have it in a safe or something? That shirt. Like, I've been to your house, but I haven't seen it. It wasn't in Latics Corner. That's up.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't in Latics Corner. It's in a wardrobe in my son's bedroom. But I didn't get them out when you stayed to show you, because there's a few others in there that I could rock for various.
I tell you what, David be envious for that, but I'll tell you now, he's too fat to get in it. So there's no way he'd be wearing it. Dave's currently, I don't know if he's in Egypt, and he's been suffering from a runny bum. So I timed that with the hope that it would make you spit it out of your mouth. It nearly works as well.
Well, it makes a change from the shit that comes out of his mouth.
It's very true. Very true. So Dave predicted that we were going to finish 11th after the first 3 games, 7 points out of 9. Everyone was like scoffing at him. But a bit of reality check. The last couple of games, Filed and Gateshead. So if you've got opinions, if you're at those games over the bank holiday weekend, very unusual, Andy, to have 2 games like that. 2 games in 3 days, a big ask for every team, especially at this stage of the season. But it's the same for everyone, so there's no need to complain. Before we've got a couple of guests lined up already. Gaz is presumably phoning in to call for Mickey Mellon to be sacked, I assume. And we've got Michael Sixsmith as well, who's lined up there. Who, if you were at the game on Monday, you may have seen the bucket collections. So he's going to tell us how he's getting on, both physically and with his collection and all that. So Brad Jackson wants to know what you're drinking, Andy.
It's a protein shake.
Ooh, right. Yeah, you won't catch Sexy Dave drinking protein shakes. He only drinks cocktails and champagne, and IPA, and anything with alcohol in. What do you like? Where have you been? You've been on holiday.
Yeah, I've been in Mallorca for 2 weeks.
Oh, so nice. Did you manage to catch any footy?
Yeah. I was in the air when we played Braintree, so I missed that. But I watched the Wealdstone game and the File game on the stream from from the place I was staying at, and then I was flying back during the weekend's game at Aldershot, thankfully, so I missed that one. But yeah, I mean, I saw. I mean, for me, like I listened to the podcast as well while I was away. You were getting a bit excited after that Wealdstone game, I thought, because there was a lot of positivity going on that podcast, which is great to hear because we don't get to do it very often. But I didn't think that Wealdstone game was particularly pretty, and
it wasn't. Definitely not, but it was the fact that we won it and had the resilience that I thought was something to get positive about, rather than the actual performance.
But I don't think you're going to grind out a 1-0 win every week like that, are you? So I think a couple of draws following have kind of, brought us.
I allowed myself to believe that we were going to grind out 1-0 wins away from home every other week, which was rather shattered.
I didn't see any of that Aldershot game, but from what I read, it didn't sound like it was a 4-1 beating. But I mean, a 4-1 beating is a beating, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Before we come on to Michael, we'll bring in Gaza because he was at the game in all his finery because he was at a wedding in Aldershot, but managed to dodge it and go to the match. Was that a good decision or a bad decision in the end, Gaz?
Terrible.
Did you not enjoy the Aldershot experience? No.
Well, it's the first time I've been to Aldershot, and I didn't realise that I had to walk up Aldershot's version of Kilimanjaro to get to the away end.
Yeah. And then through a forest of trees, and then back down a hill again. It was weird, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, fancy doing that in a 3-piece suit and suede shoes. It wasn't the easiest.
But the rewards when you got there were potentially so wonderful, but unfortunately.
I mean, it was euphoric when I first went in and got to meet up with all my colleagues from the booze bus. That was probably the highlight. Aldershot was comprehensively second best throughout, in my opinion. You could see that they had another gear to go up, and when they did, we couldn't match it. So yeah, I know he's been saying it's not a 4-1 game, but like you said, Andy, it was. We lost 4-1 and we were second best. So whether we were second best last year there and lost 2-0. So it makes a difference, does it really? We were second best again. Monday, I thought first half we just set up wrong, but second half we were much better side, and we were unlucky. We were really unlucky, really, on Monday.
So just how are you feeling now? Like, we're a few more games in, and obviously we were allowing ourselves to be quite positive with the first two because we tried to take it game by game rather than getting down or too high. Now we've had a bit of time to settle. What do you feel about the team and the squad and the progress that we've made?
Well, I was the exact same after you. Like 6 out of 6, I was absolutely buzzing. I was worried about the Fylde game, but even at 1-0 down, I thought we could still win this. If you step back and look at it all, we're currently 2 from 9 against teams in and around us. And a couple of lads were saying after Braintree and Wealdstone, don't get too excited because it's Braintree and Wealdstone, respectfully. And if we don't win Saturday, we could be, might get a draw, but we could be 3 from 12 against sides in and around us. And to me, that's a little bit of a concern, although we're only 6 games in. So I don't want the cup to sound half empty because it's not, because I don't think we're far off. I think we're desperately short of still someone in centre midfield who can get the ball, run from one box to the other with it, and just control the game. I put a tweet out earlier in the week about the midfielders we've had since we've come in this division. I don't really want to go through the list again because I'll be sick. But we're still reliant on Dan Gardner is our best midfielder, who we might get 20, 25 games out of, and he's 34. He's not got the legs, but he's still our best midfielder. Now, that's not me saying Dan Gardner's prime Shez, and he's the best thing out there. But off what we've got and what we have, he is by a country mile. So I think some kind of engine in the middle would make a huge, huge difference. And I also think someone very similar to Jez on the other wing will cause massive problems, because what we're seeing at the moment with Jez is he's running rings around the opposition. They're doubling up on him, and we've not really got anything else. Now, if we had the same on the other side, the opposition won't be able to do that as much.
So what's Dolan then? Is Dolan a centre midfielder?
Well, I don't know, but he played in the 10, which Gardner did. on Monday. He looked okay, but I suppose he's got to get fit. He's got to get sharp. To me, if Josh Stones comes in, like we're hearing, we're going to have to go 2 up top then, which will be Norwood and Stones. And that means we'll go with 1-10. I would be very tempted to play Dolan in that 10 and drop Charsley into the middle with either Conlon, Lundstrom or Gardner. In fact, no, not Lundstrom. Gardner or Conlon. And Charsley next to them because he has got an engine. Now, at the moment, he's being used to press the ball high up, which he's really good at if he's got people going with him. But I think he could be the engine in the middle of the park.
He can run with the ball, can't he? He does have that. He does have that. I mean, in terms of the midfield, I think it is still a problem area, but it is improved, and I'm hoping it will continue to improve. Conlon has still been very hit and miss. There's no doubt about that since this season. Lundstrom has been hit and miss, but what I found in the last 2 home games, is he's grown into the game. And by the second half, he's been better. Now, I would have been more tempted to play either Hammond or Lundstrom, where he played Gardner the other day. I felt we needed that more of that energy up top. Gardner, I watched him; he was struggling. He couldn't keep the press up, the energy up. And what really annoyed me about the Gateshead game was, as soon as they scored the goal, we pushed the wing backs on, like literally from the kickoff. Prior to that, they'd both been sitting back, and then we let a goal in, and you could see them visibly push up. And literally after they scored the goal, we changed how we played, and we worked our way back into it slowly in the first half, not by dominating it, but by stopping them from playing. Then in the second half, we dominated it. And I feel like if we'd have just gone out with that same attitude in the first half, we'd have won that game. Gateshead were there for the take, and we let them play, and it frustrated everybody because what we all knew, if you give them the ball at the back, they'll play their way through you, and they did. And then we changed it, and we did. And so I suppose that was the plus side.
We showed them too much respect from the start.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
If I think back to Monday, I think from the top to bottom of the club, from the owners, staff, the manager, the players, the fans, we were all shit scared, Gateshead. We were all shit scared. We knew they were going to come and pass the ball, and we were all scared. We were frightened of being played off the park by them, whether it's trauma or what. I'm just in the middle of a match brief here. Oh, sorry. Said I'm shouting. It's Oldham Athletic.
I should see him on a Saturday.
Kettle on.
Get yourself in the good books.
Yeah,
but that's
put a kettle on.
that's right, though. Yeah, you're right, though.
We built them up like prime Barca, and sorry, I'm shouting here. And I think Mellon must have realised at our time. We were speaking in our lad chat before the game. We saw under Mr. Unsworth, away from home at Gateshead last year, the way to get to them was to press and to make them go long. When we played them at home, we did the opposite and we struggled. We got them for 10 minutes, we got a goal, and we sat off again. So I was really surprised to see us take that approach Monday because, well, you saw for yourself, the moment you get at them, don't get me wrong, there are times they can cut through, but it's much more effective trying to get at them than letting them. That first goal was a disgrace. It was like watching Year 11s kick the ball around against Year 7s.
Keeper should have saved that as well, really, I think, from that distance. It looked to me like it bounced just in front of it.
Directly behind it, Andy. And I mean directly behind it, and it was right in the corner.
It was right in the corner. It was a good strike, but the lack of presence from our lads building up to it was the real issue.
Well, Lundstrom and Conlon were way too deep, so Monts had to come out into a space where one of them should have been closing the shot down.
See, we're talking about space on the Aldershot game. We got exploited because Raglan plays very much in the middle. Is it Monte, Mane? I'm not sure.
I think it's Monte, actually.
Monte.
I think so.
Anyway, Big Manny he plays very much out on the left and Hobson on the right. And there are those two big channels. And obviously with the two holding midfielders, that's kind of their area. But there have been times when we've been playing with it, it's very, very obvious, and Fylde nearly got a second by exploiting it as well, by playing Horton played that through ball. And I think from what I could see on the stream, which wasn't brilliant, was that the Aldershot exploited it. They exploited those big gaps, and they were really good and really effective on the counter attack. To be fair, so I think there are things within the team, within the squad that need refining. What I'm happy with at the moment is it feels like a team that can do a lot better and that will do a lot better. And so at this stage in the season, there doesn't seem to be any need to panic. But like you said, guys, Saturday. So sorry, we're away on Saturday at Altrincham, who've not started brilliantly, but there's still only 2 points behind us. And then Southend, we've got to win. We've got to start winning home games because 2 draws at home is, again, sort of slipping back a little bit, towards last season.
I think we need to win Saturday. I've said this in groups. I mean, I feel like Saturday, I know it's not life or death, but to me, it is a must-win considering the form they're in and that we don't want to become this nearly team that draws too many. Because those nearly games, the good teams win them. They find a way. I'll tell you what is one big positive. We're scoring goals off set pieces already, which is something that we weren't doing last year. So
it was a brilliant ball from Gardner, wasn't it, for the goal on Saturday, Monday?
He's got that in him, but he should have bloody scored when he had that open net. Should have pulled the trigger. But he has got that in him. Yeah. I don't know. He just didn't pull the trigger. I don't know why. Don't know.
Is that the one where they hit the post with the header, and then him and Fondop made a right ash of it, didn't they?
He might have been knackered because he was the one who forced the press. To be fair, so he might have been knackered by the time he chased him and got there. But what Aldershot did do was they cut off the spaces for Manny to run into, and we didn't have an answer. And then because they had more legs in the middle, they were just rotating, and Conlon and Lundstrom just couldn't keep up with it. And you did feel like that they had a gear to go up in that we didn't. And I still feel that at the moment. I do feel like Gateshead on Monday disappeared a bit. And I think we don't look like we can go up through the gears and really, really turn it up yet. But hopefully that comes now. We've got Norwood back in, and hopefully Stones coming, get Dolan playing.
And maybe Otis Khan on the other wing that you talked about potentially. Yeah.
Just something to stop them, because it is easy then to mark Jez out the game, to be fair.
I mean, the thing is now that we're talking about like where we can make tweaks and improvements to make the side, actually decent, as opposed to just be looking at it and going, "What the hell are we supposed to do with this?" It definitely looks better than it did last season. You talked about, down the right hand side, not having, Caprice is not quite that winger type. Ogle isn't, but Ogle's a different type of a handful, isn't he? It's like you've got 2 distinct types of wide players. In Jez, he's a trickster who needs to shoot more, by the way. He needs to start getting in on his right foot and having a crack. Ogle is just a nuisance and a bit of a battering ram down that right hand side, and it can be effective. I knew it wasn't going to be our day when he tried to do that long throw on Monday. The hood is not going to be our day today.
Jez is dangerous. He frightens defenders to death, and sometimes it's just as effective as end product sometimes, because it forces them to change, it forces them to double up, which creates more space for our other players. But I just don't feel that we've got them other players to take advantage of that at the moment. But if he can be really coached this year, he's going to be an handful, because he's been our best player at the moment alongside Monty.
Well, Monte and Charsley, I think Charsley's class. I'm really impressed with it. Yeah. He's really impressed with his signing, because he covers a lot of ground and he keeps the ball well, and he doesn't lose it very easily. So I think, it just feels like the signings now. You've seen them, because they're not necessarily all come with massive fanfare. A bit like Norwood last year. Once you've seen him, you're like, hang on a minute, this is definitely a step up. But you were just missing a couple more players just to make that difference, aren't we? We just feel far off. So to go back to where you opened this up, I think Dave's still miles off with 11th. I can't see any way we're not going to get in the top 7 once we get going. It's just a matter of where we finish.
But just to counter that, why are we settling for top 7?
Well, because we're still carrying people like Hogan and Reed who are taking massive wages. So if we could offload those, and we're also still paying part of the wages for not all. Who else we sent out on loan? There's
Willoughby.
2 of them, isn't there? Willoughby. We're still paying Willoughby's wages. He won't have been on rubbish wages when he came in last year. So therefore a significant chunk of the budget is eaten up by players that we don't want. So we're not able to spend it all.
I don't think it's a case of settling for it. I think it's just a case of assessing where we are and thinking, well, what's likely. I don't think we're looking like we're a team that's ready to win the league. I think everyone would love to win the league. I think this team's going to get better through the season, and if they make additions, it might well be in the hunt, depending on how things go. I just think that this team is a season or two off becoming the finished article. I know people look at teams like Eastleigh who've started as a flyer and all that, but I think
I can't get on that train, Matt. No.
In your school reports when you were at school, Gaz, did it say he just needs to be more patient with his learning and he'll get on in life?
It said he needs to be in the classroom more. I mean, I get that what you're saying. I get he's been backed within limitations, but equally, we're trying to offload Hogan and we're putting him on the bench instead of Sutton. So that's not really encouraging him to go.
I do agree with that. I think Sutton should be on the bench. Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. We've offered Matt Smith, who's 35, a 2-year deal. That couldn't have been cheap, so there's money there. So I thought bringing the promotion specialist in, and he's been reasonably backed. And probably it's a shame it's not more, but he has been backed to an extent, and he's getting the squad that he said he looks like. I think we should be aiming for top 3 minimum.
I think we are. Mickey Mellon and Darren said that they want to win the league, and you know what? We're five games in, so there's a long way to go. The season isn't won or lost at this stage, so we'll just have to see if it clicks, and 1 or 2 more signings, like you said, could make all the difference. And players are improving. I mean, Lundstrom is definitely he is improving. He's not dominating games like we want him to, but he's starting to grow into games. I think his confidence is improving, and I think personally he'd be better played a bit higher up the pitch. And I think Conlon, he's captain now, so the onus is on him to step up. He's making a lot of mistakes for someone who's played at a higher level.
Yeah. But I must admit, I expected a lot more from him than what we're getting. I expected him to be running games, getting it by the scruff of the neck, and if it were under it, putting his foot on the ball. Just not seeing it at the moment. But like I say, it's early days. Yeah. I think Josh Lundstrom's a victim of being built up as Andre Pirlo by David Unsworth. I just don't think he's ever going to be as good as what he was built up to be.
I don't think, to be fair to Unsworth, I don't think he ever built him up. It was the rest of us panicking once we'd seen all the other players weren't up to it. Like, this lad's going to have to be good or else we're absolutely knackered.
Well, he did. That fraud, because that's what he was, an absolute fraud, kept saying, we'll be right when we get Lundstrom back. We'll like to get Lundstrom back. And then they give Mark Shelton or Sharon a new deal. I mean, he just didn't know what he was doing, did he? But I just think Lundstrom, I agree with what Mellon says. I do think we're too big for him. He is better away from home. There must be something there, but I'm just not convinced he's ever going to be good enough. But you know what? I'd love to eat humble pie.
Yeah, well, time will tell, won't it? Right, Gaz, we'll move on now, mate. Well, thanks for your call.
Just one more before I go. Just one.
Yeah, go on.
And this has to be mentioned. And if someone from the club's listening, please take this seriously. The food and drink catering prices are absolutely disgusting. They should be ashamed of themselves, because these grown adults in that Rochdale Road end having to lend out £1 and £2 to kids who can't afford a bag of chips or a burger or a packet of crisp. It's disgusting. And they're ripping the fans of Oldham Athletic off.
I think they're still trying to sort out a catering supplier, aren't they?
It's not good enough. Don't put anything on them, because what they're doing at the moment is ripping people off. It's a joke. I took the little one to a friendly against Lincoln. 2 Kit Kat chunkies and a packet of crisps, £6. It's a joke.
Yeah, well, I know that OASF have been talking to Darren.
Yeah, I know they have. So if someone from the club is listening to what's in this, sort it out. You should be ashamed of yourselves in the meantime. It's a rip-off.
All right. There you go.
3-1 win Saturday, by the way.
I hope so. Yeah. It's not the best, is it? Not Aldershot. Aldringham away. It'd be nice to just
Josh
give them
Stone's
a good
hat-trick.
hiding. All right. You heard it here first. Thanks, guys. Take care, mate. Yeah. Yeah. Right. We'll bring in Michael now. Hello, Michael.
Hi there.
How are you doing?
Hi, Michael.
I'm all right, thank you. Hi, Andy.
Hello.
You were at the game on Monday, weren't you? With your
your
team collecting money. Do you want to just tell fans why that was?
I've been told I've got a very rare liver mass. Well, I can't even say it. Melanoma's growing in my liver, and it's spread from my eye. I had a tumour growing on the retina of my eye in October last year. That was treated down at Liverpool. They told me I had it was a non-malignant melanoma, but have a liver scan, a liver ultrasound every 6 months. They should have said every 3 months, because 6 months later I had 5 growing in my liver.
Wow.
So now, the NHS said the NHS treatment would only give me a 15% chance of any sort of positivity, but a DELCAF treatment, which is 50 grand a treatment, could give me 70% chance. So
bloody hell, that's a big difference, isn't it?
It's a lot of difference. Yeah.
And you got in touch. You got in touch with me at the beginning of the month, and to ask if we could help out and spread the word about free fundraising efforts. Yeah. And you did so by saying, I want to make sure that I'm alive for when Latics finally get back into the championship. And it's like, I know, you don't want to be going through all this to miss out, and so it's one of those things you've got to try and stay like Latics, really. I suppose being a Latics fan prepares you in some degree for having to look on the bright side and be positive. You know what I mean? So so you've been. I've got the let me share the page here now. So if you can, what I'll do is I'll put the link there now into the chat there, so that the GoFundMe link is in there, and I can do a screen share which will show where you're at now. There we go. So I should be able to share. So it says there you've raised 27 grand, which is absolutely fantastic, towards your 50 grand total, and that's just since the start of the month, isn't it? So it's you're going good. You're on the road for your total, which is fantastic. So if anyone out there can spare a few quid for Michael, then the link is in the chat, and it'll take you to that page, and you can watch the total go up. And Latics fans have been helping you out. You were doing your bucket collection on Monday. Yeah. How much did you raise for that? With that,
£1,549. It was amazing. It really was. The people up in the north stand in the restaurant, they had me crying. They were just putting £20 notes in. It was honestly, it was very touching. It really was.
Yeah. I mean, anything can happen to any of us at any time, can't it? And we've got the people around us within our families and friends, but it's really nice to know that you can call upon a lot of strangers effectively because of your allegiance with football, and that people will help you out. And you get a lot of messages coming up in the chat now, a lot of goodwill, best wishes, and hopefully the club because the club have been putting stuff out for you, and hopefully everyone being behind you like this will give you some real encouragement when you're struggling, because I'm sure you do struggle. I mean, it's very difficult news to receive, isn't it?
It's right at the beginning of May when I was actually told. I just couldn't believe it. It was this is you can't tell somebody you've only got 12 months to live. It's like something you see in a film. But he said no, unless you have some treatment, that's all you've got. So
you're well over halfway already.
Obviously,
we want to try and help you get there as soon as possible. Is it something that you would need to achieve by a certain time because you've got to have the treatment by a certain date?
I have got savings, my private pension. When I was told that I only had 12 months to live, I got in touch with my private pension, got a letter from the doctor, and they released it tax-free. But then the problem is, if I have the treatment and still pass away, there's nothing left for my wife and child. You know, that's a worry.
Yeah, and obviously, exactly. You don't know what's around the corner, do you? More treatment might be required and all that kind of stuff, don't you? So
I think one bit of good news is there's another treatment called tebentafus, which is under review by NICE, which is, they say whether NHS can fund it. That's under review and it comes back up in October. So there's a good chance that November that'll be on the NHS, and that is even better than the one I'm doing. So, but the thing is, I can't wait that long. If it doesn't get passed, I've just wasted more months waiting. I've got to go for it.
Yeah, you've not. When you're told that kind of time frame, you can't afford to sit around and wait, can you? You've got to be proactive and get on it. So look, I mean, hopefully the championship is not too many years away, because like I said to you before when we were chatting earlier on before we went live, it's like, with the way that Latics have been going on, none of us might be around by the time Latics wins the championship, and that wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. But
at least I didn't say Premier League.
No, you don't know. You were a bit more realistic than that. But I was just saying to you before, I was chatting to a Burnley fan in a pub in Burnley at the weekend, and he's talking about the fixtures that they've got, the kind of games that they have.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Brilliant. Leeds and Sheffield clubs and Bolton and, I mean, give me right arm to be in that bloody league, honestly. I mean, from compared to where we are now. So, but we're talking about the progress that we're making on the pitch and stuff like that. Look at Stockport; they've started the season brilliantly again, haven't they? And they could have gone, they could be shooting up there. So I'm really hoping that we'll emulate that when we do click into gear.
Definitely,
and we won't have to wait too long to be in the championship once again.
Was it 12 years that Stockport were in National League? Something crazy. Don't want to be waiting that long.
No, absolutely not. No, but we'll just have to be patient. Well, hopefully you'll whenever it is, and let's say it's going to be within the next 10 years. Hopefully, we'll all be fit and well. So. We'll all be fit and well enough to enjoy it. So,
well, I'm a very positive person. I'm very positive. I'm upbeat. I'm always smiling. So that's half the battle. Definitely.
It is. Yeah, your mindset is really important to just in general, isn't it? But so I don't know if you got a chance to actually take in much of the game on Monday when you were doing all that.
Some of it, yeah.
What's your general feeling on the season so far?
I was impressed with the second half. I really was. The pressing, just chasing them down all the time. That's what we want to be seeing. Away matches. I think some of the away matches we won last season, we just parked the bus, played on the break. Down at London team, we beat 4-1, I think.
Barnet.
That's Barnet, yeah. We don't have to push all the time, sit back, play on the break. Sometimes that's what you got to do.
It'd be nice to see a Latics team just take it to teams, though, wouldn't it, more often? Because
definitely.
Like Gaz has just said, when we sat off Gateshead and treated them like they were prime Barca, they passed it around us and looked really good. As soon as we got in their faces, they were giving the ball away, nearly scoring own goals. So it shows you what you can do if we get at them. The other thing we've got to remember is in this league, we're Oldham Athletic. They're Gateshead. We should be able to go toe to toe with them. We shouldn't be sitting off and letting them pass around us. And I think if we do that, if we have a go at teams, we'll probably find that they'll start fearing us a bit more. I don't think we're many players off having a team that can do that.
I think they're pretty good this season. definitely.
Yeah, no, there's definitely an improvement, and I think like we said it last season and the season before, we were getting beat by that. We got beat by 3 of the newly promoted teams at home last season, and that's because we didn't stamp our authority on them. We didn't earn the right to play. We got passed off the park by teams because we didn't go out there and stop them from playing and put tackles in and foul them and do what you need to do to make them feel intimidated and like Gaz said, Gateshead did sort of like come off the pace, and we did disrupt their flow and their rhythm because we didn't give them the time, and we've got to be a lot more aggressive and earn the right to play, and there are signs I think this season that we're going to be more capable of doing that on a regular basis. So hopefully, I think I'm with Andy. You went for 5th, I went for 4th, Andy. What would you think is a realistic finish?
I'm not going to say 17th. I'm not saying 17th.
No, someone's gone badly wrong if we finish 17th.
I mean, God, we want the top 2, really. Got to be, yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think it's one of those things. No, go on, mate.
What I would like to see is a few more shots from outside the box. We seem to just keep passing and passing, trying to get it into the box. Let's have a few shots from out of the box. If the goalkeeper parries it, somebody be there to knock it in, please.
I agree with that, definitely. I think that if you've got James Norwood in your side, you've got to be taking shots at goal. Keeper saves he'll be on the end of them and sticking them in. I keep saying, Jez, I'd like to see him shoot more off that left side,
definitely.
cutting in on his right foot and having a goal. And getting in the boxes as soon as he can as well, and because he got a foul against him outside the box, but he needs to get into the box more as quickly as he can, and defenders will bring him down, especially now Norwood's back. Norwood's lethal from the penalty spot, so those are the things that we need to be doing.
Well, one of the other things was Tom Conlon was billed as a free kick specialist, wasn't he, when he came? I think either his first or second game, he took a free kick where he rattled the bar, and you thought, oh, this lad really can take a dead ball. He's not taken a decent one since, has he? Every time he sets over him, he either don't beat the first man or plays it too long. So I quite like to see him have take a shot a few times.
Yeah. I know it's I mean, I'm not going to knock his work rate and his effort this season, but he seems to be having a bit of an uncomfortable relationship with the ball at the moment. It's not doing what he wants it to do, and I think we're all expecting him to be a bit more composed with it. But just on the donation front, Michael, there's messages coming in here.
Super! Thank you so much.
People donating, so that's great to see. So thank you so much to everybody who's donating and helping Michael his target get up there. And it's one of those things. No one knows what's around the corner, Michael. Nobody knows. It's that's life. That's what makes it mysterious and thrilling and scary, all these things that it is, but we all wish you all the very, very best, mate. And
thank you very much.
And like I said, just keep us informed with
getting
on, and give us you're welcome on the phone in any time. Give us a shout. Let us know you're getting on, and whatever else else you're doing, let us know, and we'll share it through our socials and through the podcast and the phone in, all, of course.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All the best, Michael.
All right, mate.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. Cheers.
All right.
Bye.
All the best, mate. Right. He's been waiting patiently, holding his head. I think he's in the queue for Oasis tickets, but I'm not sure. It's Ryan Hamer. All right, Ryan. Oh, he's definitely maybe a picture up there. Yeah, all right.
Is your stock look always one that's grumpy, Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that it? That's your standard face. It's grumpy. Some people have resting bitch face. You've just got grumpy face.
I've gone watching Latics since I was a kid. What do you expect? It teaches you a few things: how to be grumpy and how to deal with a cold. Don't teach you anything else.
I don't know. You've come up with some pretty good analogies. What was it? Was it the fish and vegetable aisle or something last time? So I'm looking forward to what you've got to say. Your unique slant on things.
Weirdly, I think I'm a bit more positive than quite a few people. Well, more positive than Gaz seems to be, I think. But I just think we just lack a little bit of a spark. I think that we're doing all the basics, well, most of the basics right. We're pressing, we're working hard, but the final ball just isn't there. And if you look at how many chances we don't create that many. We don't. How many? Somebody just mentioned that we don't get shots from outside the box. We're not having that many shots, and whether that's because Fondop's not been good enough, that's what most people think. Whether that's because, like Gaz is saying, he wants somebody like a number 10 or whatever. There's just a bit of a spark missing. And when I'm looking around the division, have you seen how many draws there's been? There's been a lot of draws, which to me suggests that most of the teams are kind of in the same position as us, where they're also looking at it and thinking, there's something not quite right. There's not going to be a Chesterfield. Nobody's going to run away with it. So when you're thinking we can't win the league, I'm thinking maybe we can't, but I reckon there's a lot of teams that are going to be thinking that as well. So all it takes is a few wins, and it could snowball. And it could might not snowball for us. It might snowball for Forest Green or whoever. But it's going to snowball for somebody. And why can't we get on that?
Oh, we did. We definitely could. But I mean, we had enough attempts on goal in that second half against Gateshead to have won it. We just didn't have anyone clinical enough to finish. Norwood had just gone off, hadn't he, before one of those chances? And if Norwood had been there, I'd have put my house on him scoring. We do need to score more goals. So if you look at the league, we've scored 7, and you've got Eastleigh, Gateshead, Sutton, Forest Green, Aldershot, all score more than we have. So we've got to tax taking the chances that we do make, and we've got to create more chances. You just the players that are suggested that are going to be signing. So Otis Khan, we've just signed Dolan, Josh Stones potentially. These are all attacking players, so they're only going to add to the firepower. You'd imagine that they might make a difference if they all come off. We could win the league. I don't think we will, but we could. But I'm confident. I'm as confident as I can be that we're going to be in the top 7. We're going to get in the playoffs, 4th, 5th, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to win the league either. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that there's not that much between any of the teams. Definitely at the top. So you look at a few clubs and you think to yourself, how did they manage to do so well? And it just winning breeds winning, and we need to win more games. Gaz is right that we can't just keep drawing games. But last year, and especially at the back end of last year, we were drawing lots of games, but we were drawing them and it were crap. And we drew them, but we were the worst out of 2 teams. This year against Gateshead, against Fylde, I'm looking at it and we're the better of 2 teams. And I know that's only a very small. It's all the same at the end of the day. 1-1's 1-1, and it doesn't matter whether you're worse or the better team. But we're not that far off, I think, from being actually good. Matt used to go on about and mentioned incremental improvements a few times last year under Unsworth, and I never saw it. This year, I'm seeing it for the first time. I'm looking and thinking we've stepped up a little bit. And I'm looking at players like you mentioned, Charsley looks great. Now, for me, our most comfortable player on the ball is Manny Monte. I think he's our best defender.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's our best defender. He's our top goal scorer. He's best in midfield. He puts the best cross in. I bet he's our best keeper as well. What a player!
Yeah, great signing. Yeah,
favorite Latics. He's my favourite Latics player in years, I think. And he's only been here 5 minutes. I prefer him to John Jones.
Totally. Look, when I spoke to when me and Andy interviewed Melon and Darren Ross, one of the things we said was, we're desperate for heroes. We're desperate for players that we respect and look up to and admire. And you don't do that the same when you're 46 as when you're 6. But the kids need those lads. They need those players to, and there are signings straight away that have come in this season, and you're thinking, yeah, these are players that we could get behind. These are players that people are going to want on their shirts, and that we hope are going to stick around for a bit. And he's definitely one of them. I think Charsley's another one. I thought he was the one midfielder in the first half against Gateshead that came out of that half with any real credit, because he was really trying to take the game to him, doing a lot of running and I think he could have had a couple more goals this season. He's taken the ball from deep. We were talking about running with the ball, gone into the box, and all he's needed was a 1-2. There was one with Fondop and there was one with Norwood. Not in the same game, but where if they'd have just laid it off back to him, he was in and he would have scored. So there's a few little decision-making issues that need resolving. But I'm with you, Ryan. I don't think we're a million miles off. We've just got to convert some of these. I mean, we drew a lot, didn't we, towards the end of last season? And Mellon was saying, it showed that we weren't good enough, but we weren't getting outplayed. And now we've got to turn that from those. And that's why I thought the Wealdstone result was a good one, because I thought we didn't particularly deserve to win it, but we won it anyway. And I was hoping it was going to be a bit more like that down at Aldershot, but we'll gloss over Aldershot as a bad day at the office. But you're right, the other two games, Fylde and Gateshead, are games that we really, really struggled in last season. And we definitely weren't the best team.
Hey, talking about, you talked about Stockport and their start. I mean, they've invested a lot of money. Have you seen where Bromley are in League Two?
They're at third.
No, they're not actually.
7th. 2 places in front of Chesterfield, who are 9th at the minute. I just think that League Two and the National League, there's like there's a Rizzler paper between them. And if you get a bit of momentum going, you can get out of this division. I think you can fly through League Two pretty fast. There's not much difference between those two divisions.
No, yeah, but I think there's a bit of a chasm, I think, between
League Two and League One.
Yeah, because if you look at it, if you look at some of what are being considered as class players at our level, Con Clark, he can't sniff the pitch in League One. Josh Stones is being brought back down. There's seems to be a big chasm between it. Like Manny Monte couldn't get near the. Well, he actually did play for Northampton, but he was surplus to requirements at Northampton. He looks like Beckenbauer. It's
Conlon the same at Port Vale. I agree. The step up to League One from League Two.
But it's all about assembling. I know it sounds really obvious, but it's about assembling a team. A team that functions, that works together, that knows what it's doing. It's well drilled. That's good banter in the dressing room, all that kind of stuff. And that's the thing that takes a little bit of time. And teams like Bromley have been in development as a club and as a team, and that's why Stockport. All right, it took them a long time to finally get out, but you see that progression, and that's why I still think we're just. Maybe next season, if we don't get promoted this season because we go through the playoffs and we don't make it, and there's every chance, it's a big chance that'll happen. I think next season I'd fancy us next season then to be the team to go on and potentially win the league. You don't know who's going to come down and all that kind of stuff, but I think we'd have had enough time to start evolving into an effective team that would be able to deliver consistently. I'm just not sure that we're at that stage. Yeah, I think there's enough to do the playoffs, but I'm not sure about any more.
I think there's no reason why we can't do it this year. And partly, you've mentioned there about you don't know who's going to come down. This year, this is the year where I'm saying there isn't anybody. You're not looking at it worried that Chesterfield are going to run away with it. You're not worried about the next one. You're not worried about the next one. So this is the year that this is. I'm not saying it's the only year, but this is a prime year. And this is the year, in my opinion, that if there is a class player that we can go out and get, go and get him if you can. That could be the. Remember a few years ago, Notts County, the year they went up, what they did, it was Bostock that they brought in, who's now at Solihull, but he's about 35 now. They looked at it in January and thought, we need a bit of class, and that's what they did. They went and brought it out. And I know we're only in August, so and there's a long way to go. But for me, if we are in and around it in January, this is where, and I'm sure Mellon will be thinking the same. Go and get me X, Y, or Z.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah, and the board will be thinking the same as well. They will if if they feel they can chuck a bit more money at it and take us up, then they will. But I mean, Wellen has already said again when we spoke to him, Andy, about wanting to build a team that can take him through the divisions. And there are some signings that he's made this summer that you can, like you said with Manny, you can see him going on that journey through League Two and taking us out.
I mean, it'd be amazing if we could win the league this year, just to see Ryan smile.
Top, I promise you, if we win the league, I'll do. Well, I won't be able to do a roly poly, but you will see. You'll see me. We top off, swinging it about, giving it all. I think we're on the right track, but there is like you said, we're nowhere near the finished article, but I actually don't think anybody is, and with just a final ball, and I've not seen Otis Kine because I didn't go in I've got no opinion of him. I've never seen him, so I can't.
He's played a fair few games at League One and League Two level, hasn't he? Like a lot of the players we've got in the squad, and Dolan is still, how old's Dolan? 23. So he's a really young lad with a lot of potential who would appear to be able to pass the ball around in either in the 10 or slightly further back. So, and if we do get Stones, and yes, he struggled at Wigan, is that because he's not up to it? Is it because Sean Maloney's not worked out to get the best out of him? It's difficult to tell. But if he can have the same impact he made, that's 3 forward thinking players that we add to the squad. That could really change. And with Norwood coming back, getting fitter, we could start creating more chances, score more goals. We could go on a big run. And then you never know where it takes us. It is. Yeah. It's fine margins, isn't it, at this point?
Yeah, it is.
And I think that we're doing all right. We're not running away with it. We're not going to run away with it. But I think we're doing. I think there is enough for us to be content with, I would say, at this point. You watch now, we'll get slapped 5-0 on Saturday.
Well, I was just about to say, like, team's going to go through a division winning every game, and you're going to draw and lose some throughout the season. Chesterfield lost a few games last year, admittedly a few towards the end. So losing's not the end of the world. It's getting hammered 4-1 at Aldershot. What does that do to the confidence when you get an absolute tanking? So we could do with not getting any more tankings. Really.
You're right, but what we did is we came back with a decent performance in that second against Gateshead, and like Gaz was saying, we've got to win games, because let's be honest, if we'd have won one of our last 3 and lost the other 2, we'd be on more points than drawing and losing one. It's about winning games. Winning games gets you promotion. Drawing games keeps you up.
I think on the plus side, the game, particularly against Gateshead, we could have come away with 3 points very easily. And in the end, we were probably unlucky not to, because we were creating chances, and it was just so. If we weren't, I'd be more concerned. I think the fact that we're 10 points would have been brilliant to beat Gateshead and close the gap on them. But 7 is okay at this stage. But the next 2 games are really, really. I just like going into at this point of the season, looking at the games and going, yeah, this is a big game. Yeah, this is a big game, because you can go through the whole season. Like for the last however many seasons, it's kind of like, even at this stage, we're thinking, oh God, and they're like big games for all the wrong reasons. We just want them to all be big games because they're keeping us in the mix.
Can Nuttall play at the weekend?
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah, I think we're all.
He can't play. Can he not play?
No, but he just said. Do you remember when Mark Allett was on loan again for Chesterfield against us, and he was unbelievable that game when we got slapped 4-2, I think. Yeah. At Chesterfield. Yeah. And he was absolutely brilliant.
I didn't know whether the loan rules are different in the National League, whether a loan player can play against a parent club.
Pretty sure I've been reading that he can't play.
No.
I'm pretty sure.
Because you know what would happen if you did, don't you?
Oh yeah. Score a trick, wouldn't he?
But we've got these two. We've got Altrincham, then we've got Southend, and then on the Tuesday night straight after we've got Halifax.
Yeah.
And if we can get 4 points, but if we get 6 points in the next two, Halifax, we could take a bunch to Halifax as well. We could instead of it being 15, maybe 1,800 or whatever, it could end up being 2,500. If we do just a couple of wins, could really boost. We'd probably be top two.
Yeah, and that's something that's noticeable from the home crowds, isn't it? Is we've lost about 1,000 probably on average from last year at the minute, and I don't feel like it would take much to get that 1,000 to come back and pay on the day if we went on a bit of a run and started to win more regularly, and that would help as well.
Definitely.
Yeah. 25 quid. What Gaz said about the food prices, I'm sorry, but the £25 to pay on the day. I know, like mine, my nephew and his stepdad, they don't know whether they can, because of his work. He doesn't know whether he can go, so he would just turn up on the day at £25 for him. 2 kids, well, it's too much money. They couldn't do that every week. It's £25 a rip off. £5 more, you can go to the Premier League.
Yeah, I agree. It is a lot for this level for sure. But listen, we're going to have to skip on. I'm glad we got to finish with you having a mourn. That's good.
Nice one, Ryan. Nice to see you, mate.
Thanks for getting in touch, mate. See you soon. Bye now. So just before we go on to the next caller, I don't know if you know, Andy, but we've got some hot new merch.
It's hot new merch. Sexy merch. It's hot new merch. It's sexy, sexy, sexy merch.
Visit weareoldham.co.uk/shop now to see our brand new range of hot, sexy merch.
It's hot new merch. Sexy merch. It's hot new merch. It's sexy, sexy, sexy merch.
And I can confirm we have sold 3 Sexy Dave Seduction Cups.
Every time I look at that cup, you know mugs where they're heat sensitive when you pour hot water into them, and they change. Every time I look at those Sexy Dave mug cups, I shudder at what might happen when I pour hot water in one.
Well, listen, I can't. These are unsubstantiated, but I've heard that they do work on the seduction front. That if you do take one to bed filled with hot cocoa, that you will be guaranteed a night of hot loving. That is Dave who told me that, so it may or may not be true. But yeah, hopefully he's watching now in Egypt. Right, so we'll speak to Sam. Hello, Sam.
Hi there. Mate. Yeah, how are you, mate? Sorry, I haven't got a webcam.
No, it's all right. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, not an Oldham fan, but
see you, Sam.
Is it you, Sam? Is it you, Sam, who tweeted earlier about potential signings for Oldham?
It is, yeah.
I thought it was.
Right, go on, spill the
tell us
beans.
what you know then.
So yeah, I thought I'd come on and speak about that. So it is all reliable sources within the club. I'm under the impression that
within which club? Within which club?
Within Oldham, of course. Otis Khan is set to be announced tomorrow. There was a delay in him signing for you lot because I believe that the original offer wasn't what he wanted. So they had to reopen the negotiations for him. I believe he's also being signed to play as a 10, which isn't really his where he's played prior, but you know he's a skillful player. He's good on the ball. It's good squad depth for you lot. Also, a little update earlier I posted about Josh Stones. It's all but done now. He'll be obviously joining you lot soon. Obviously, the addition of Taylor to Wigan earlier in the day, that was kind of the allowed Wigan to relax a bit on keeping him, and now he's it's all but done joining you lot.
So, Sam, who are you? Who do you support? And what's are you a bit of a football insider, a journalist, or what's the story?
So, first of all, I'm a Woking fan. Love the National League. Been watching since I was 5-6 years old. I was asked by a few people after breaking the news about Stones and Khan to come on and speak about it here. But yeah, love the National League. I do quite a lot of stuff on social media in terms of just stuff regarding the National League. Really, I think it's a really nice niche and it's kind of my passion. So yeah, just love the division. And I've over the last few years, I've kind of grown into the kind of Twitter side of it and got myself a few sources here and there in certain football clubs. And Oldham is one I've managed to get a source in and get some information from.
It must be absolutely amazing having Oldham in the National League. Then you must be loving that.
You know what? It's one of them things where it's a big club, but I've seen many big clubs stuck in this division. Yeah. It's very, very undermined once teams drop into this level. We've obviously seen it with Scunthorpe. You guys came down as well. They ended up plummeting even further. The likes of Wrexham got stuck here for years. Notts County was stuck here for years. Like you said, Stockport even dropped down to the National League North. I think the one automatic promotion spot definitely plays a part in that, but which I think is just absurd if I'm honest.
Yeah,
but, yeah, it's a very strong league compared to what a lot of people first think when coming into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's really hard.
There's a common thread with all those teams you mentioned is they were all in turmoil in terms of how they were being run, and that's why they take time to reset, ourselves included. You don't get many teams come down, unlike this year with Forest Green and Sutton, who don't appear to be in ownership turmoil, so therefore they're probably better placed to try and compete. But all those clubs, when they drop down, it takes them ages to reset because they're in an absolute mess.
No, yeah, it's tricky coming down to this division. It's definitely not the kind of level where you see a lot of teams reset. It's quite hard to find your ground in this division. Like I said, Sutton have come down this season, and so Forest Green and Sutton have come down. They've both kind of taken very different approaches to it. The Sutton side you see this season is barely the team it's barely the Sutton team that came down. I think they've retained 4 players, whereas Forest Green have taken a bit more of an experienced approach. They've retained a bigger group, but they've also gone for quality over quantity in terms of signings and added some more EFL experienced players. They both look to kind of it's early doors, but they both look so far to have kind of broke that curse of struggling teams coming down.
And they bought Christian Deutsch back, haven't they? Who's set off like a train so far this season. Forest Green, he scored about 5 goals. And you're sitting in 4th, looking at the table. Lost your first 2, won your last 3. What are you looking like? Because last season you were dicing with death, weren't you? Really?
Oh yeah, it's been a roller coaster few seasons for us. We've kind of gone from finishing 4th to suffering relegation troubles to the start of this season having money troubles at times. To now even to being 4th after 5 games, despite losing the first 2. But yeah, it was a bit of an anomaly first 2 games really for us. We kind of 2 red cards in the first 2 games. Both games didn't last 10 minutes with 11v11. It was quite hard to judge. But last season we obviously had Michael Doyle come in as our manager. Took him a while to get going, but once he did, it was a steady ship. He did a really good job. And obviously, the last few games we've been pretty good. We like to knock the ball around quite well. It's quite clear he's recruited in a way that fits the system he wants to play. I do think we're light of a few players here and there, but we have a new owner set to be announced, or majority investor set to be announced within the next week or so, who's got a fair bit of money behind him. So hopefully we can try and add a few players.
And what do you make of Latics squad, and how do you think we're going to get on?
So yeah, I'm quite impressed this season, if I'm honest with you lot. In terms of obviously I've been listening. A few people don't seem particularly impressed so far, but I'm quite impressed because I think the last few times I've seen Oldham play at Woking, it's kind of seemed a bit like, I think you beat us last year, the first year, definitely, at least. It seemed a bit like 11 individuals on the pitch. I think at times last year it did as well. This team, this season seems a lot more, it seems a lot more strung together. It seems like a lot more of a team, more so. And I think you're definitely much more well equipped this season. Obviously, the likes of Manny Month coming in, Dolan, he comes with some good pedigree. Charlesley as well. I think they're all really good additions that are quite different to what you've gone for in the past. I think it's kind of Mellon steadied the ship back in the last season. I think this season, I'd be surprised if you weren't in the playoffs come the end of the season.
Who's your tip to win it? Who's your tip to go up in the playoffs?
So I did a preview at the start of the season, and I actually had Solihull to win the league. I looked at the squad that they kept last season and thought that they really built on it well without losing many key players. But
currently in 12th, so you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a tough prediction at the moment. A lot of people would suggest, the likes of Barnet, but then again, it's such a tough league at the moment. Everyone's beating everyone. I still want to say I'll stick with my Solihull prediction, but playoff promotion. I want to say Sutton. I think they've looked quite good so far. They look like they can go out and bully a team as well as knock it about a bit. But yeah, it's honestly a potluck at the moment trying to pick.
Yeah, it is one of those seasons. Unlike in the last few, we've not had it, have we? We've had runaway teams. We've had teams that are, obviously when Wrexham and Notts County, it was in Chesterfield, you're picking 3 teams for the top 2. You knew who it was going to be. It's not like that this season. So hopefully we can make Boundary Park an intimidating place. You beat us at Boundary Park last season, didn't you?
We did. It was 1-0. Yeah, that was that was actually almost the turning. I think that was the turning point in Michael Doyle's spell as manager. He switched to a back 3. I believe it was. We switched to a back 3 that game. We brought in Max Dyche on loan. Looked quite solid at the back that day. I believe it wasn't an easy game, that's for sure. But that was kind of the turning point last season when we kind of ground out a result and managed to kick on from there and survive.
Yeah, well, don't be expecting any points off us this season.
We'll have to see.
We'll be putting you in your place accordingly. 6 points, absolutely guaranteed.
Well, we've got them at their place in a few weeks, haven't we?
Yeah.
So it's
you can all you know where we are on a Wednesday at 8:30 if you need to come on and gloat.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'll be sure to be back after that game or not, depending on the score. But
we will see if your predictions or your assertions that Stones and Khan will be in the scene. We'll see. They will no doubt be playing against you if they are. So we'll keep our eyes open tomorrow. Our Twitter feeds will no doubt be pinging if we have new signing alerts. I hope we do. I really do. I think we could definitely a couple of players away from becoming quite a dangerous side. So thanks for getting in touch, Sam. We've flown past the hour tonight. It's been
cheers. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, pleasure, mate. Thanks for your call. Obviously, for those of you who were worried that Ibby hadn't decided to call in this evening, don't worry. He has. He's just been very, very patient and he's waited until the end of the evening. So let's bring in Ibby. Hello, Ibby.
Evening, Mark and Dave.
It's
not Dave, Andy. I'm sorry, Andy.
That's all right, mate. No worries.
It's first time speaking with you, Andy.
It is, yeah, it is. How are you?
I'm all right. Just disappointed that we lost against Aldershot, but as you know, it's a long, hard season. These things will happen, but let's hope it's a one-off.
Yeah. I see you've changed your picture there. You had Joe Garner on there last time. You've got Manny on there.
Yeah,
is that the goal he scored against Filed? Was it not Filed?
No.
Yeah,
that's against Gateshead. That
is it? Yeah. No. I'm taking. I like Manny because he's been performing very well. Joe Gardner's my favorite player because when he's open running, he knows where the net is. And I thought we should have beaten Gateshead, but as you know, we're lacking up front, and hopefully this week it'll get resolved. But my main issue is if Josh Stone does sign, he hasn't had much games time. So will his fitness be behind Dave, Matt?
I think he played 1 or 2 games for Wigan, and he's done a full pre-season. So I don't imagine he'll be miles away. And I don't think it'd take him too long to get going, because he's definitely appeared for Wigan once or twice, started 1 or 2 and been on the bench. I think he may have missed out last week for the first time. He's been in the matchday squad every week, so hopefully he wouldn't be. Ibby, I heard a rumour that somebody had suggested that Mickey Mellon had applied for the Blackpool job. Do you know anything about that?
It's not fair of me to speak about it on here because the club are listening, and I don't want to end up getting myself in bother. But there was something in it, and I just leave it there for now.
Okay.
I'm not having that. I'm not having that. I think he's happy at Latics. He's got a job to do, and
but Matt, I'll make it clear. Yeah, money talks in football. Don't say that it can't happen. It can happen. Anything.
Well, that's true. That's a fair point. Money does talk in football, but yeah,
I can't imagine. I'd be surprised if Mellon was at the top of Blackpool's list of potential managers.
I think he's an ex-player, so I wouldn't be surprised if the club wanted to interview him. I'm not saying he'll be given the job, but football's a very, very strange thing. And remember, he's under contract, so if Blackpool did wanted him, they would have to pay a big amount for him.
Yeah, you have to give us loads of rock, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
I think he's doing a good job here at Latics, and I think what we need desperately more than anything is stability in the manager's role, and the club is desperate for that. We need somebody to build the playing infrastructure around, the coaching infrastructure, the scouting infrastructure. The youth team, like when we had Fitherskirk in there for all that time, we Nicky Adams is in there at the minute. We need to just develop. Obviously, there's going to be staff turnaround, and people are going to come and go. That's the nature of football. But what we really, really need is, just that consistency. And I think that Mellon gets that as far as this role. He's a football manager, so he's always got the potential of getting sacked if things don't go his way. But I think it sounds like from what they were telling us, Andy, that Mickey and Darren were working on a vision and a long-term plan, and they're going into it with that mindset. So, hopefully he's going to be sticking around for a while, and that depends on him on getting results, obviously.
Yeah, I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised because he knows he's got the backing of the Rothwell family and the board. He's been given backing to sign the players he wants. He's in control of that. He must feel part. The way he spoke, he feels part of the club and wants to shape it around how he sees it. It would be, money talks. If he's right, if Blackpool offered him a lot more money, but he could be out of the job in 12 months if it doesn't work, where he might have more security here. He could take Latics through the divisions and be a hero and all that sort of stuff. I do think that he lives in the Blackpool area, doesn't he, though? I think he lives in that because he managed Fleetwood, didn't he? And he played for Blackpool. So maybe that's a draw. Hopefully not. We could do with the consistency. We could do with not losing a manager at this stage and having to start again.
Yeah, very good points by Andy there, and I really hope you do come on the show again, Andy, during the season, because it'll be good to get a bit of your response during the season, how it's going.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when Dave's not around and I get collared by Matt, then I'll come on. But if Dave does the Wednesdays, I do the weekends, Ibby.
Yeah,
but it's nice to chat with you first time.
Yeah, and you, mate. All the best. Take care.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Mark. Look after yourself. Bye-bye.
Thanks for calling, Ibby. See you, mate. Yeah, speaking of Dave.
Hey, Dave, did you know that listeners can now buy us a coffee or any other kind of hot beverage? What's your favourite hot beverage, Dave?
A macchiato.
And how do you like your macchiato?
Black with lots of milk. Oh.
No cream?
No.
Well, if you want to buy Dave a
macchiato,
then go to buymeacoffee.com/We Are Oldham. I'll just have a Nescafe.
Oh. Thank you, listeners.
We do.
Jesus, this just gets more partridge as the time progresses, doesn't it?
We do have a laugh. He comes in. He comes in here before we got right, Dave. We need to make an advert, so we're like we just get the mics on and we get the music. There was provided by Matt Buzzer Berry there, who is my Spikes Island partner, a very talented musician. And we just come on, let's make it up. And we do that, and we're just sitting there laughing, and he's going, and all this. It's funny. I do enjoy it. So that's it. So if you do, if you want to buy a Sexy Dave mug to seduce your wife or somebody else's wife, then they are
find
available.
Out what happens when you put hot water in it.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Or any warm beverage, macchiato. They're available on our website, which is I've got a thing here across the bottom. I can run a ticker. There we go. We are oldham.co.uk and follow us at Oldham Fan Media. Have you enjoyed your debut on the phone in, Andy?
Yeah, no.
It's been all right.
It's been all right, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it every week, but
neither do I. But you know, it's better doing it when we're not absolutely garbage. So I'm just glad. I'm just glad that we managed to save ourselves a little bit at the club with the team with that second half performance against Gateshead, because I think if they hadn't pulled that out of the bag, it could have been a very different phone tonight if we'd have lost that game 1-0. And then obviously with the 4-1.
And Altrincham have given us some more tickets, haven't they? So we could have a decent following, or we've already had a decent following, but we could have a much better following. It could make all the difference at the weekend. And if we get back 3 points, the whole mood will change again, won't it?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm being down there. It's my nephew Tino. It's his debut away game. He's not been to an away game before. When Enzo went to his first away game was Bradford City, which was a slight upgrade on Altrincham, but you know it's his first away game, and it's a good occasion for 3 points, I think. So, Andy, it's been very nice to talk to you. I haven't spoken to you for a couple of weeks, so thanks for helping us out, mate. It's been very, very helpful. And I'll see you on Sunday for the podcast, which will be out on Monday. And let's hope that Latics can turn Saturday into another 3 points. Thanks for watching. Thanks for getting involved, and all the best to everybody. See you later. The Latics Football Phone-In is a QPod production for We Are Oldham, dedicated fan media. If you'd like to know more about QPod, visit kupod.co.uk.